Well, hello, you unlucky people who came across my channel. Welcome to a video where today it's basically going to be a random meme thing of 2020. I hope you enjoy. Please don't raid me. So, what was to come in 2020 was a whole slew of random shit. We had a 23 race calendar coming up, as well as this weird thing you see on the screen here. But the weird thing is, this weird thing that was named after a Mexican peer started flying around and killing people, and now we were stuck indoors. So now we're all basically stuck inside, including these racing drivers. They have pretty much nothing to do. So they looked to lots of things to try and waste their time. So they found one thing. A little thing called sim racing. Now, as the racing drivers weren't very interested in sim racing plebs like Jimmy Broadbent here had a wonderful time, including people such as Lando Norris and blokes like that. However, the sim racing only lasted about 5 minutes, and then they were back to the brickyard, that is the Oostenrijk ring or the A1 ring or whatever the hell you want to call it. They were still there, and they had quite a range of strange but also kind of cool things to keep them safe, including face masks. First time ever in F1 history or in racing history, we saw all these things, no spectators, an R2-D2 kind of robot giving out the trophies, and then socially distanced, stupid-looking podiums, but then again, they keep the drivers safe, so I'm not one to object, but yeah. But the race was gonna be a whole much more of an oddity. As soon as the race started, the Ferraris tried to kill each other. Kimi Raikkonen's tyre said fuck off to his own car. Hamilton started killing Albon, and then, strangely, Lando Norris got a podium finish. The next Grand Prix was to take place in Hungary. Only one race, it wasn't a double header. The really only memorable thing that I remember about it is how the Red Bull mechanics fixed the car in under a minute and somehow got it to the line just like that. God! No! The next Grand Prix was the British Grand Prix. The memorable moments of that when Max Verstappen finally won something against Lewis Hamilton, and when both Mercedes magically got tyre failure, however, no one else did. The Grand Prix after that was the Spanish Grand Prix, which I think everyone else would agree, was about as interesting as watching paint dry. The next two Grand Prix were to take place both in Italy, the first one in Monza, and the next one in Mugello, and you'd think there would be the typical kind of racing where Lewis Hamilton wins everything. But let me tell you this, sunshine. It was not. At Monza, it was a completely different ballgame for Lewis Hamilton, as the pit lane was closed because his tyres were gone, obviously, and that handed Pierre Gasly his first ever win. But nothing would prepare the drivers for what was to come in Mugello, for it had three, I'm not joking, 3 race restarts. That's incredible. And you can see the carnage on the screen here. It was nothing but a complete demolition derby for all these £1 million machines. And as you can see, they weren't very pleased with this. And by the way, in case you are wondering, yes, I accidentally missed the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa just because I could hardly remember about it and didn't even know it took place last year. Next Grand Prix would be the Russian Grand Prix in the shithouse, that is the Sochi Autodrome. The only memorable moments we got from it was when the two Ferraris yet again tried to kill each other, and when the McLaren of Sainz decided to just ram themselves into a wall. Next up was the German Grand Prix in the Nürburgring. We were all excited about it, but then we realised it was as interesting as pretty much watching paint dry. Yeah. The next Grand Prix would be yet another Italian Grand Prix, this time in the small kind of place of San Marino at Imola. And naturally, there were going to be some crashes. Now, most of the drivers after this point were about to wet themselves after they heard about the Turkish Grand Prix. So that was the season pretty much over. Lewis Hamilton got his 7th world crown and now equalled Michael Schumacher's record. And the final 3 races, Abu Dhabi was simply boring, but Bahrain on the outer layout, Grosjean caught fire. It was quite an amazing year. Nah, I was joking, it's a shit year, goodbye.